My grandfather, Otis Buford Briers, was solid as my supporter and clearly observed all I was as a youth league baseball semi-star. From the first time I indicated that I wanted to play organized baseball on a team located in my elementary school, up through the injury at 18 that left teeth busted and me afraid to stand up at home plate and bat against pitchers who I was convinced would throw baseballs at my mouth and cause blood to spurt from it, as Kent Urabedra had done that time. Boo Boo, as I called my grandfather, was a fixture at my games, as he had been when he and I went to all 77 home games when the Mobile, Alabama AA Bears won the Southern Associates pennant. And Gordon Gordy Coleman, the Maryland Flash, led the league with it as a 30-year-old holder of the Triple Crown. I was a little boy growing up in hot, humid, extremely politically conservative Mobile, Alabama, and the baseball games kept my spirit going in a town where most of the commerce, along with a lot of other things, free speech, liberalism, the encouragement of young people to leave an economically depressed town, were discouraged. One needed to either conform and behave like a quote good old boy or a quote good old girl. I was neither. My saving grace was my sister Carol, who studied at the University of Alabama, which was only about 200 miles away in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, home of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, whose head coach was Paul Bear Bryant, a good old boy whose arm had to be twisted to bring the first African-American player onto the team, as well as several other players. Every game, my father would pace the floor, worrying if the Crimson Tide would win the games, keeping meticulous statistics of yards gained, such as a passing yardage gained by Joe Willie Namath, who at the end of his college football career signed with the New York Jets and wound up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Mobile produced many great athletes, including Hank Aaron, who held the Major League home run record until Barry Bonds broke it. Aaron's mark of 755 lifetime home runs. Satchel Paige, one of the greatest pitchers in baseball history, also hailed from Mobile. All these greats got out from under their small town misery, as did I. How much time?
We've got 2 more minutes.
Okay, just I hope. Good. All right. Oh, this is about a woman I used to like. This is called To Vanessa. You think I love you, some swan song to my youth, or some jealousy of yours. You and your no wrinkles and your confidence that you're right all the time, except when your 80-year-old roommate gets cranky with you and you scurry around like a beautiful 200-pound mouse. You think I adore you, the stars are out, you're young and I'm not. I thought of making love to you, having a baby with you, giving you some diamonds you could buy on layaway, the crystalline rock sticking high up into the air. I'm no Gibraltar, but you're right. I love you. And I could, like Methuselah, live a long time bowing down to you.
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
Okay, and our next poet is Owen.
Whenever anybody says spaghetti, people hear spaghetti. People hear
Robert's got his hat on. Robert's got his big hat on.
Oh, cool.
If you do not want to be recorded, just say so and I'll be glad to push the button.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
right now?
Yes.
Yes, I am. We got,
Okay,
we're on.
can everybody hear me? This is called, it's called The Wounded Sky for Steve Mackin. Dreams bright that go unanswered, leaves barely move in the furtive sun. The sky pure and blue as if it had been ordered to do so. Ordered to be pure and blue instead of gray and dark. Sunny skies can heal all wounds, my spirit wounded during the day. Big things, little things, some people say it their way. Poetry, learn to think, feel. Sonnets arrive online, on screen. Real life in death and death in life, to quote Yeats. Yes, I mourn Steve Mackin, Yeatsian, whose proud phrases rang out at Sacred Grounds every Wednesday. It struck me dumb when he passed away. I'm not too sure if it had been intended that he should have been taken from life. Empty jar. Reach out for the empty stars. The jar of words is empty. Empty of metaphors. The poem has come to the last dance. The sonnet like a sleepy string orchestra. The villanelle of wordless chamber on song. The sestina of ghostly orchestra and chorus. All empty. All have had the day when they can fill the page with opacity and subtle clarity. Coming to terms with reality as I do, as if emerging from a dream. A bad poem, trying to be original. A faint wind stirs the trees into shade. I sit helpless over the loss of metaphor. Language that was a joy has disappeared into a curse. A curse of confusion that gallops and cavorts about the library, doing Quixote-like deeds, cavorting about, bumping into itself, trying not to be good-natured. Seconds lost. Below in the bushes, clouds cover the sky with an iron will. Will and certainty, that's what I have not at all. Thoughts pensive, traffic flowing like a river, the day like no other, like a sentence at the force of others' free will. That is, I think I'm free. Friends have a mind like a pogo stick, bounces with nothing in between. Passion stirs the masses. There is one mind I seek. Somewhere here, there, maybe there, in the drooping banners, moving impossibly to catch the clouds. Poem of 4 elements. A piece of 3rd Street in the cold sleet. Pedestrians try to corner the market on the air. Only the air is free. Nothing else gives us the brilliant gift of life and love, and asks for nothing in return. Earth is your earth. It is many, to me a great mystery, stolid yet elusive, and always right. It is there, as humble as a star, and always a logic I should not deny. Rain, always warm and silken, flows out and makes my side of any question all right and bright, warm like a bath, cold like rain and knowledge. Knowledge and emotion are one, like Zeus, sky and thunder. Fire oxidizes, baffles the clown and humanitarian. Sharp and bright, it outdoes me. Little me without any effort or effect. Flames are like magic burning my necessity. Dr. John File taught Milton at State, now he's at SU. I took his course in my senior year, spring 1968. He was a thin, sandy-haired Englishman. When we came to the part in Milton's biography, whereas he supported the round-headed Parliament, the right under Cromwell, his reaction to that was, and rightly so. The next semester I got back to State and bumped into a woman who I shared the class with. He then told me that Dr. File, who was in the habit of taking tea and discussing Browning, had shot himself. He said that he left a note, said goodbye to his colleagues, went down to his basement, and had blown his brains out. P.S. The woman who I liked gave me a ride to my place once. Kiss all angels. Trouble in heaven, the clouds vanish. Too many angels spoil the truth. Would-be's travel through their thin air. I am helpless before their 30 muses. The everyday seems different and diffident. This poem is going somewhere. I think in an unlikely poem to dance about the fire, leaping as though it has no beginning and no end. The dance will end, nobody leaping in boredom and idle longing to a morose sigh. Her personality like one huge helpless sigh. And oh yes, it's all my fault.
Yeah.
Evening Blues Sonnet. Searching milkwood feelings for a metaphor. A metaphor for the loud jazz to tell me how it is to flutter like a piece of paper. The carefree flutter of a piece of paper up and down 3rd Street like a wind tunnel. Reality is a voice blowing cool to the wind. The wind does not care, nor will it ever care for me at all. It is like impatient 3rd Street, as impatient as jazz. Jazz that refuses to speak to anxiety. New Moon, a prose rhapsody. Bribe the British brunt. The blunt rising, floating, cruising past the lacy nimbus. The night is rich and dark as the eyes of Satan, who passed through the pure doorway on his way up Grant Street on a furtive errand. A cop copes with chaos in the empty street. Camaraderie creates mystery in Joie la Vive. It's as if Joie la Vive is a lesson I learned in my past life. I'm reincarnated as a searching, drooling druid. Cat's House Paul, a torpid human prose poem. Outside the door, a kitten jingles its paws on the keys of caution, wisdom, and restraint. Its tiny paws search the bushes, a vague search for more than it can know. It seems to me that our late Poonder, a clever cat, hunted up and down trees and campfields for birds like the sleek black hunter he was. If successful, a pile of feathers would appear on our back porch. Poonder might have been proud of himself the way his paws would swipe out and bring down his prey, usually a robin or a sparrow. Of course, he got old and died with a sad but unbloody look in his still fierce mini panther feline face. Waves. The horn-plumed sea, nests of rococo curls, everlasting pink. Sea foam banish its face from love tide's busy angst. Pange lingua gloriose. Please hurry our salvation, dripping from stars too naughty to relinquish love to her haughty pride-sung demeanor of right reason standing. The pink shell sea foam, still as Christ even we breathe. High ka, steady sound and head falling. Moment of something of leaves. Moment of leaves. This go. That's my jazz. Making red hot lips, all that jazz. Eyes roaring red joy. The saints come marching in. Satchmo, blow hot, sound that smooth. Like refrain sounds soft in the lost night of notes, longing freedom above all else. Gone above to blue holy heaven. The joystick, clarinet, soul so sweet saxophone, exotic night trumpet, Chet Baker, gone. Sweet soul crying, every cloud has a silver lining. Soul hot cat trumpet, eternal earth-like. Meow. Okay, thank you very much.
And now our selected poet, Robert.
Somebody put the microphone down because I'll sit.
Okay.
I'll do it, Barbara.
Okay.
I'm pretty technical.
Okay.
I'm pretty technical.
Okay.
Are you gonna be able to post this on YouTube? I appreciate it.
It's being streamed right now live.
Good deal. Good deal.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much.
How you doing today?
That's the hat that he's wearing on the back of his book.
It is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we
He's
can.
streaming. I don't mind if you record mine.
Okay,
It's,
couple of things. This afternoon, I'd like to thank you all for being here, but especially my friend John Strain, because I sent out all kinds of, emails and YouTube and Facebook and God knows what. And usually it's just the regular people who show up. Once in a while, an old friend I haven't seen for a while actually does, so very much appreciated. And I'm going to give you a selection of old, new, and some things probably from my books. And I want to start with a poem that Sally asked for a couple weeks ago and I didn't have it with me. This is a new poem. It's called Beginning the Story. The way moonlight tumbles through a glass of whiskey in a darkened room is perhaps a suitable starting point, but it is not enough. We require as well an open window, a bitten moon, a raven so large the wires sag beneath its weight, an enigma with eyes like shards of glass. If the night is starless, so much the better. One cannot, however, attach too much importance to omens. An ivory letter opener from another century, ornately carved, lies on a blotter near the whiskey, pale against paper stained by the dimness of this world. A letter opener hungry for news of some place from which no word has come for a long time.
I love that poem.
Oh, thank you. So then I thought I'd dip back into golden oldie territory and read some poems that I wrote back in the 80s in New Jersey. This always takes a minute, it's going to be on the last page I look at, isn't it? Well, inevitably, actually. The poem that I'm looking for is the poem that I think is probably the best poem that I wrote, the best poem that I have written in 40 years of writing poems. Unfortunately, it was written in 1982, so I suppose it's been downhill since then. This poem is a historical poem, and that was the direction I was going in at one time. It's called New World, and the epigraph is a quote from a book called New England's Prospect, published in 1639, written by a man named William Wood. And what it was a guide to people thinking of immigrating to New England, to the Boston area from England. And it told them what to expect, and there were inaccuracies. So concerning the area of present-day Boston, William Wood says, "Concerning lions, I will not say that I ever saw any myself." New World. It wasn't the Eden we'd thought. We arrived in the dead of winter. Ponds and streams were clogged with ice. That spring the soil brought forth stones and sharp hooks of yellow bone. Some said these were Satan's teeth and prayed fervently. Lions were heard in the black underbrush within a mile of Plymouth. Their howling surprised us at prayer. The pale wings of open Bibles beat in our hands. Hymns rose like smoke And here is another poem from that era, written about 1982 or so. This is called Family Chronicle. My grandfather, Walter Maple, was the dentist in Grafton, Ohio during the Depression. Farmers who had no money paid for pulled teeth with eggs or rhubarb. Gold crowns he made by hand, even years later, when I was little. His white head bobbed in the faltering light of a fire he kept in a woodshed as he hammered strands of ruddy metal into tiny, uneven moons. Already his hands were shaking, blue under the nails. Saturdays, rows of bullets like buds on a stem hissed in a bucket while he melted lead. In the backyard, a tart smell of gun smoke mingled with lilac and apple blossom. He shot at cans or paper targets, too close to death to feel like hunting. Sometimes at night I see him. Black shop dust clings to his sweating face and arms. As always, he is melting metals, murmuring something over and over. It's so confusing, he says, and the wind at the window agrees. He can't remember anymore which ones to kill and which to heal. I have a new book out. I'll call it still relatively new. I guess most of you know this. Smoke in Cold Weather, which is a gathering of sonnets written over the past 3 years or so. And my publisher would tell me that whatever else I may feel like reading this afternoon, I should try to promote the book. So I'm wearing the hat that I'm wearing in the cover photo. And I'll tell you what I guess are my two favorite poems in this book. This is actually kind of funny. There's an index in here and I never think to use it. Probably my favorite poem in the book, the first 20 poems or so are about the death of my late wife, Pat, who was a lovely woman. You would all have really, really liked her. Everyone did. But this poem is called 5 Autumns Since, and the note reads, in memory of Patricia Lewis Smith, 1953 to 2005, cremated. 5 Autumns Since. This evening in the frayed autumnal light, I sense the loneliness that lies ahead. The emptiness of your side of the bed like wrinkled snow blown fathomless and white. Quick, furtive movements on the edge of sight that might be memories, some nameless dread. Dim shadows on the ceiling overhead as beams of passing cars dissect the night. 5 autumns since your marrow incandesced to ashes and was thinned to speechless air. Since fire wove its bright plating through your hair, your nipples blazed like coals in your spent breasts, and your beloved body, being nowhere, was everywhere at once, never at rest. And, let's see, what the heck is this poem called? One thing about using the index is if I could actually remember the titles of these things, the index would be more useful. But I'm looking for the one, oh, Pigeons in the Courtyard, that's what it's called. There we go. All right, this book is essentially a monument to 2 great loves. My late wife, Pat, the first half of the book is devoted to, or the first third or so is devoted to her memory and talking about her illness and death. And a substantial part of the book is also devoted to a very passionate but unfortunately apparently unrequited love that I have for a woman named Valerie, known as V. Many of you anyway, know her. And of the love poems that I wrote for her in this book, this is the one I like the most. It's called Pigeons in the Courtyard. Light claws its way through ancient chestnut trees as you lounge idly in the palace yard. This is the Louvre, say sometime in the 90s. You're barely 20. Still, it isn't hard to guess the girl you must have been back then. Beauty like yours grows luminous with age, and yet I wish I could have known you when you conquered Paris, turning back that page. You're smoking with a French friend, Virginie, who hails from the south near Orléans. I wasn't there, but conjure vividly young laughter, pigeons circling cobblestones. The scene anticipates so many things. My heart a soft cascade of lifting wings. Now this is the part that Johnny Hernandez likes best. This is when I kind of thumb through the book and suddenly go, ooh, let's do this one. I spent last night at the saloon in North Beach listening to the Lisa Kindred Blues Band because a friend of mine, Sal Aguilera, plays sax with Lisa Kindred. So I was sitting there pounding back Jamesons, and I just came across a poem called Whiskey Before Bed. If the dreams I had last night are any indication, this poem should have taught me not to do what I just did, but here we go. Whiskey Before Bed. I dream of flies with eyes like vivid sparks. Despite their fragile iridescent wings, they're black and hairy, loathsome little things, leave filthy tracks on interrupted work. Another night exposes crippled storks, torn feathers nearly gone. Dead reckonings lay bare a hopeless hole where no bird sings. Depraved phantasms prowl the tumid dark. Or else it seems I've somehow lost my way, address illegible or never known. Wolves with lean faces tracking hapless prey down streets where gnawed skies conjure bloody bone. When morning rouses me a sickly gray, I meet the new dawn, sickened and undone. Yet again. Let me see. Previous book. Yeah, everything moves with a disfigured grace. And we'll just do a nod to this by reading a couple of things from it. I usually get a good response to this one. How many people used to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when it was on? Yeah, most of you did. This was written back when Regis Philbin was the host. This is called Who Wants to Be an Impoverished Poet? Should you decide to devote your life to poetry, you would most likely become which of the following? Is it A, famous and wealthy beyond all dreams of avarice? B, known and respected among scholars and academics? C, broke and obscure in a room that leaks when it rains? Or D, dead before you reach the age of 50? Well, Regis, that would have to be A, wouldn't it? Is that your final answer?
All of the above.
Great,
And this next poem is a little bit longer than I sometimes do, but this was my favorite poem in this book, actually. This was a love poem that I wrote for Pat when we were first engaged, saying basically that, well, I won't say anything about what it says, but remember what happened to her and that this was written several years before that happened. This is called Nothing I Love Has Ever Seemed Permanent. For Pat. When I wait beside you, the rags of summer sky, visible through partially drawn drapes, are already as thin and shimmering as blown glass. You're still sleeping, sheets kicked away from your nakedness, the curve of your shoulders traced faintly by the flicker of the last streetlights. Propped on one elbow, I lie watching for a long time as you curl more tightly into some dream I can't share, smiling softly in your sleep. At this hour, loneliness is palpable even to lovers waking in each other's arms. Across the way, by a cyclone fence, the buses in the municipal yard doze in the intricate dark. On the hill above them, the neon sign over the storage facility, partially burned out, prints the word rage in huge letters on the waking world. The streets are wet, savagely quiet. It's the most vulnerable time of day. Alone beside you here in the fading shadows, I feel frail and old. There are some things I fear, death and the ordinary business of living. Nothing I love has ever seemed permanent. I can scarce believe we're together now, in this bed worn comfortable by the indentations of our bodies, places where we fit gently into one another. Around us the new day takes shape, the struggle begins. Frightened and joyous, let me wake you with a kiss for luck, watching the rinsed light rise in your eyes. Barbara, how am I doing on time?
You have 3 more minutes, Ron.
3? I probably should find something good to end with.
It's all good.
Really, be serious,
Well,
Robert.
Thanks. I would like all of those millions of people watching this streaming over the internet to buy Smoke in Cold Weather and make me obscenely wealthy. It might corrupt me, but I don't know. I'd love to give it a chance to try.
Yeah.
Let me do 2 more actually short ones, new ones. If I can find them.
Thursday.
Hang on.
Pigeon, it's on Thursday.
Jason,
The new one that he did on Thursday.
That's one of them.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to do the, here we go. I'll finish with the one I wrote at Robert Harry's on Thursday, which has been partly rewritten. But before that, I want to do a poem called Whodunit. And I've had for a number of years the ritual almost of watching British mystery shows on PBS on Friday nights. And I've wanted to watch, I've wanted to write about that for a long time. This is another new poem. It has a joke in it if any of you are interested in philosophy. Some of you will get it. Whodunit? On Friday nights on public television, Hercule Poirot proves once again that life is nasty, British, and short. But there is no one to hold accountable for this solitude. No one to point an accusing finger at the twilight, drowning in a glass of cheap red wine. No chalk marks trace the outlines of my murdered heart. And my friend Barry Scheinkoff, who is the person who published Smoke in Cold Weather, does some really good editing of some of my poems, and this is the poem that I wrote at Robert Harry's on Thursday, edited slightly to make it even a little tighter. This is called Pigeons. As an adolescent, I believed in love, abstract yet palpable. Once on a frozen street in New York, I saw pigeons thronged and shivering in the arched windows of an old stone church. the saints and seraphim colorless by daylight, blackened by interior darkness. It seemed for a moment I was one of those cowering birds, trembling before the splendor of the unnameable, my back turned on an emptiness that threatened to consume me. Thank you very much, and also thank you, Mr. Natural, for recording this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robert. Okay, very nice. Okay. So I'm gonna
Give me a moment just to gather
Okay.
myself.
Ms. Natural, I'm on next, so I'd like to be
You're turned off.
videotaped. No, I'd like to be videotaped.
Oh, you would? Oh, you got your makeup
well,
on?
No, I got a haircut.
Okay.
I'm the same.
I know it has nothing to do with your poetry.
I think
I'm the
that,
same with when
I think really you're gonna be in your,
Yeah, it was just a question.
It's all
I
right.
think you're gonna be
But this is great.
at your best advantage having this archived for,
Yeah, it's wonderful.
you know, the future, if any.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, need some help, Robert? Okay.
There you go.
Now you're talking.
I think I made it.
Okay. This is a revision to a recent poem I wrote, inspired by an ex-coworker who almost killed me with her perfume. And this is called Trapped in a 1950s science fiction film. Humans dropping like flies and no one knows why. June, the alien from the moon, doused herself in perfume. She created her trademark perfume, Perfume Purgatory, in her lunar laboratory, intended for humans in close proximity to June, the alien from the moon. Humans developed severe allergic reactions, including coughing, wheezing, and yes, even death. Trapped in a 1950s science fiction film. When accused by humans of being full of perfume, June replied, "You're all FOS. You're liars." For light years, she succeeded in killing the masses with her alien perfume. Humans dropping like flies, and no one knows why. One day, the perfume was too much for June, and she drowned in her own perfume. Trapped in a 1950s science fiction film.
Yeah.
So, the next poem is dedicated to my grandmother. It's called Ma chère grand-mère, that's French for my dear grandmother. As I played with the life-size dollhouse a neighbor bestowed upon me, arranging and rearranging the dollhouse occupants and furniture over and over again, I waited to taste a délicatesse délicieuse de ma chère grand-mère, impatiently inquiring time and time again, when will the beignet be ready, grand-mère? As sweet aroma of no-hole beignet permeated the kitchen air, ma chère grand-mère would prepare with tender loving care. While my childhood photograph played on and on, music permeated the dollhouse with innocent songs of yesteryear. While grandpère watched those grotesque wrestlers on TV, how strange I thought that must be. As I replayed with the life-size dollhouse a neighbor bestowed upon me, arranging and rearranging the dollhouse occupants and furniture over and over again, I waited to taste a délicatesse délicieuse de ma chère grand-mère, impatiently inquiring time and time again, when will the beignet be ready, grand-mère? As I close my eyes, I can still smell the sweet scent of those no-hole beignets today. Ma chère grand-mère would prepare with tender loving care until they were ready, ma chère grand-mère. This is another little jazz song I wrote. It's called With Tin Cup Right Side Up. Cinnamon, you're the one, with cinnamon red hair and eyes as blue as the blue cerulean sky. Cinnamon, you're the one, playing that sweet sexy sax in my ear, and Coco will be singing the blues right by your side. Coco and Cinnamon, just trying to stay alive, just trying to survive after the hurricane. With Tin Cup right side up, on the corner of Lean Beacon Street down around New Orleans. Having some fun on the corner of Lean Beacon Street down around New Orleans. Just trying to stay alive, just trying to survive after the hurricane. With Tin Cup right side up. When it's all said and done, Cinnamon, you're the one. With Tin Cup right side up. So I was bored bored to death as usual in my job at the Employment Development Department. So I was looking around at the phone directory and I came across this name, Marquita. And I thought, wow, okay, I'm gonna write a song called Marquita May. You know, there's nothing sweeter than sweet Marquita May. Sweet Marquita May, she smells as sweet as a rose in May. Sweet Marquita May, she's so swell, she's so très bien. Sweet Marquita May, you know, there's nothing sweeter than sweet Marquita May, except maybe a New Orleans beignet. Sweet Marquita May, and there's nothing more to say. This is an old poem I wrote. It's called The Beautiful Sound of Poetry. It's 3 a.m., my mind and body are at peace and in harmony. Suddenly I am awakened by the beautiful sound of poetry, dancing and dancing with me. There's nothing entrancing in awakening to the beautiful sound of poetry, dancing and dancing with me. I capture the moment indelibly, oh, the beautiful sound of poetry. And this is a little song I wrote for Ray back in 2009. It's called Blue Baby, Blue Eyes Blue.
Oh, I like this one.
Blue baby, blue eyes like sapphire jewels. Recite your prose and poetry beneath the blue spotlight at the Sacred Grounds Cafe every Wednesday night. Blue baby, blue eyes Ray, write your prose and poetry for those of us who love creativity. From your deep blue thoughts, let flow lyrical imagery. From your prolific poetry pen, let the ink flow incessantly until the indelible blue ink dries. Blue baby, blue eyes blue. Eyes like sapphire jewels. Blue baby, blue eyes blue. Okay, thank you.
Barbara, let me ask you, the 50 horse picture, do you have a reference to that? What picture is it you were talking about?
In the 1950s, that was an era that was really known for the science fiction films.
Oh, right.
So that's why I came up with the title, Trapped in a Science Fiction Film.
Charles Bukowski, maybe the greatest intellectual of our time, often wrote about the movie The Fly, and I was wondering if that might have been the same thing.
No, I've never seen that one. I've heard about it. But no, this is based on my own experience, and I almost succumbed to her perfume. She just doused herself with my ex-coworker in this perfume, and she would be in close proximity to me just so that I would absorb the perfume.
When was Frankenstein made?
I don't, I'm really not into science fiction films.
The movie, the all black and white, that was in the 30s, late
Was that
30s,
long?
wasn't it? 38?
31.
31?
Oh.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah, it was before Disney.
Good poem.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good one.
Okay, all right. Okay, take care of you first. Okay, so our next poet will be Sally. All right.
Hey, Sally.
He's not feeling well. He's not feeling well.
I sure appreciate you streaming this. A lot of important work's getting done, and people throughout the years are going to want to look back
Right,
and look at all the great things that came from San Francisco.
Pick the book up and see if it stays up there when somebody will slam it down.
Yeah.
Okay, seems to work.
Well, to all you in YouTube land, I'm Sally Love Saunders. I was born with a pen in my hand, and it's never
Very
left.
uncomfortable for the mother.
You're not gonna believe this. I tell you about how my poems are like children that always want to come with me when I'm here. Well, I opened up this bureau drawer that I don't open up very much. There are all these poems. Now, don't ask me how they got there, but they were there. Just when I was thinking about, well, I'm going to go to where I keep my poems and put together the program. So here they are. Talking with you, I was floating in a parachute. Later alone, I could feel the softness of the silk, gently and slowly falling around me. As a 4-year-old, you like to play subway driver with your mother's meat grinder because you like to control the speed of the car. As a grown man, you like to play tennis. To win. You like to win, to beat your opponent. And so with me, I see you liking to control and to win. Sometimes I feel like a tennis ball, You swat hard to win. We are looking at each other through the wrong ends of binoculars. Distant and small to each other. I don't feel your skin anymore. Just space between us. A swift current has grabbed me, twisting me round and round. I can't keep connected with anyone right now. Yours is the one voice from the shore that keeps calling to me while I spin. Drinking glass with confines of skin. Drinking glass with the confines of skin. Tight holding, confining, while bubbles inside rush to the top to air to express. So my words are my bubbles from within. So carbonated with you, so fresh, the pop from the bubble, still in the air.
Yeah.
Hello, paper. I've come to visit with you. Nothing in particular to repeat or ask. Just want to be with you. Enjoying your receptiveness of quiet and space. The lines receiving me, space to be. A piece of paper all to myself. You don't criticize or bite at me. Your neutrality beckons me. My love breathes my soul into its being, for my soul and his are one. Our kisses float and our beings are as mist. The union fine, and after I tell him I want to follow my soul and share our lives, as our souls share their beings, he snaps at me for not drinking a stupid diet tap. How can he sink so low and leave our souls behind? Green clover memory. So terrified of having to walk through snow and slip. All kinds of horrible memories of falls as a kid. Awkwardness in kindergarten in the snow. Terrified to tears. Then a kind man, Reggie, said he would escort me through the snow, and he did. He made a green path of clover, bright green clover, like a red carpet in the snow. That green clover memory I will cherish, like a gem in my mind. And when the terrain of life seems slippery and scary, I'll remember the path Reggie made of bright green clover in the snow in the wilderness. Spiraling down choices. It used to be there was one answer, and that was that. Now there is an autumn leaves assortment of answers. The plans that didn't happen, the wrecked promises, broken friendships, lie tumbled on top of each other in a junkyard of parts and pieces in the memory of my mind. Leaves falling, being raked up and removed in big bags. The ground is barren where the leaves were. My life has autumn, seasons when the winds blow harshly and leaves fall off the trees. It's a sad time, but I have to rake and remove the leaves. Spring, new buds, new plans, new beginnings. A precious time, summer, for play and getting away. But now it's fall. The cold winds are blowing, and loss and dead leaves are in the air. Dead leaves smell of death. It's 2 a.m. in my mind, and I'm walking down a mental city street. Scary thoughts of childhood follow on the street. An empty gum paper lies open that once cozied a stick of gum. I miss the cave shelter of Rice House with warm fire of nurturance, loving tribe and hugs. Sometimes my childhood ways interfere, like a scary monster going boom. Work now is to become the adult in me, the caretaker for me. But I miss the cozy blanket at the Rice House where I was tucked in. The Rice House was at Duke Medical, and I was the poet in residence there. And it was a wonderful experience. For example, I would get the surgeons together to write poetry as stress reduction. And it was wonderful to see the power of the poetry. People who are in intense care, you get them into their poetry zone, and all of a sudden healing can take place. The me nobody knows wears tall high boots and walks bullseye dogs down Fifth Avenue, wearing huge dark glasses and exotic hats and long earrings and elevated shoes. The me nobody knows is skinny and tall and turns heads. The me nobody knows is a pipe dream. Knowing you has been like riding the merry-go-round that's never able to get the gold ring. But on each time circling, hoping that maybe this time I will catch the gold ring. I'm thinking maybe I had better get off the horse and off the merry-go-round, but for some reason, I don't. Just laughing. Meta Schroeder at Brown Ledge Camp. It was the just being with her that was the pleasure. No agendas, no events, just laughing and enjoying being with her. No schedule, no tickets to buy, no weather to contend with. It was a relaxation of laughing and laughing and laughing. A washing machine has to stop the spin cycle before soaking can begin. And so I have to stop, yes, stop, before centering and reflecting can begin. Canadian geese in military form fly across the horizon. Their straight black lines reminding me of a Navajo's weaving shuttle going from side to side, leaving a dark pattern on the loom of the sky. Autumn. The branch has turned into a saucer. My soul, the cup that sits, nestled in it. My sister's nails. My mother's lines between her two brows. She tried to erase and renew with patches and exercise. I try to renew mine by doing inward things, like breathing and meditating and thinking beautiful thoughts. I guess my mother taught me that, to do spiritual exercises, she said, like sitting up exercises, need to be done daily. My mother was more scheduled, even though I too make lists, lots of lists. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Right, okay.
Sally, is this yours?
Oh, yes, thank you.
You need extra hands.
Okay, great. Thanks again, Sally.
Thank
And our next poet is Stephen.
Thank you.
I don't want to be recorded.
Okay,